everyone, it's so good to have you back here again. Thank you so much for always being here. You guys are awesome and simply the best. And also don't forget that we're here to give you the latest, the hottest, most reliable and authentic news. So guys, this is the best place to be to get most reliable and authentic news. So share this with your friends and family so that they do not miss out on any of our most recent news. Yes. All right, guys, there's something that says that President Buhari is on a slippery ground as regard electric power intervention, and of course we know that there has been a lot of issues as regards electricity in Nigeria, and if we could remember that President Buhari actually sacked the TCN manager, that is the transmission company of Nigeria. He sacked the manager, and there has been a lot of issues between the power minister and the TCN managing director, and of which is not supposed to be so. And here, President Buhari have been challenged that, of course, while it was a time of President Olusegun, ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, that he was asking him that what has he done about the power sector, and up to this moment, that question is still about to be answered. And this time around, he said they've challenged the president about electricity in Nigeria. Sit back and enjoy this. But before I bring you the details of this, ensure that you have turned on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we drop a new video, and ensure that you subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Your thumbs up would mean that you saw this video and you liked it. Thank you so much for always being here. Okay, let us get the details of this news. He said if President Muhammadu Buhari succeeds in his current move to intervene in the electricity power crisis in Nigeria, he would have scored a master stroke addressing the most fundamental national yearning. He will only then gladly escape the probe of history that ends with the question he once threw at his predecessor Olusegun Obasanjo. You spent $16 billion on power projects. Where is the power? And Obasanjo is there to answer that question 2 years after it was asked. We must not in the future hear the same question asked of the President Muhammadu Buhari, who with German help is set to spend $3.11 billion and 1.15 trillion naira to resolve the endemic crisis in electricity power supply in the country. With focus, integrity, and accountability, this cannot elude Nigeria. That is why I find the trouble with having to fire the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Usman Mohammed. Disturbing the presidential power initiative will be jeopardized if it takes off on such wet and slippery ground as a power tussle between the power minister and the chief executive of a parastatal, especially if found erring. It is obvious that changes at TCN were approved by President Muhammadu Buhari. It should be considered over and done with, and we should move to the next level of appointing a board for TCN. We should be quickly constituted to consider and appoint a substantive managing director. In running crisis over the sacking of the erstwhile chief executive of TCN, an old anomaly that bedeviled all past efforts to resolve power issues, has again reared its ugly head. The tenuous nature of management unions are being influenced to politicize a simple management decision, and in so doing hold the whole country to ransom at a very critical time. Between the offices of the Minister for Power, Finance and the Presidency through the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, there continues to be disquiet, as if there is no conclusion yet on the matter. It should dawn on us that time has begun to run out on the agreements with the German consortium on the power initiative, and more crucially, also for President Buhari, who desires to deliver within his tenure. There should be no ambiguity. The Minister of Power, Engineer Sale Maman, tired of running battle with Usman Mohammed as MD of TCN, was left with no choice but to secure President Buhari's approval to sack Usman. TCN is a fundamental component in the power reforms that of necessity must be aligned if the Siemens plan is to succeed. The snag obviously is that while the presidency was securing the German funding, the TCN had gone on to secure funding from other sources, namely the African Development Bank (AFDB), with the hope to apply it towards grid integrity. We hence have a clash of interests. Fortunately, in all wisdom, President Buhari is determined to save the Titanic from sinking over the wall (AFDB) iceberg loan. With that went Usman Mohammed, who was tenacious in his persistence to stand aloof on the alignment of the TCN to the presidential initiative. Usman incidentally was further undermined by the fact that while generation had climbed hovering over 5,000 MW, the TCN marred by ineffective maintenance and poor system management, which contributes to partial and total system collapses, was unable to deliver the generated power to distributors. The losses owing to this severe infrastructural misalignment total amount to 1 billion naira daily, according to Sale Mamen. The idea that AFDB facility is tied to an individual manager is preposterous. No sole individual should be such a linchpin as to be held more accountable for a loan facility than the government itself. In any case, the AFDB has welcomed the constitution of the new management of TCN. What remains to be determined is whether the loan facility should be thrown into the German cart if needed. Surely there is more than can be found to do with funds. The crude concept of electric power supply in Nigeria is that an entity generates the electricity and delivers to another entity to transmit it nationwide. To distribution companies, this cost who then sells to consumers. I do not know any country that succeeded with this type of contraption. Viewed as a solution, this is what become of the over 20-year-old effort to solve the simple fact that the old National Electric Power Authority (NEPA), which became the Power Holding Company of Nigeria (PHCN), was seen as amorphous and consequently inefficient, and solution was the intricate act of unbundling of the process into splinter units. We created separate entities for power generation, transmission, distribution, and consumption. This inadvertently is the camel delivered to Nigeria for the horse that NEPA and later PHCM was. I doubt that we have been better off in trying to resolve the inefficiency that we thought was owed to amorphous size. We appear to have splintered the old power entity only to multiply the challenges. Nigeria has continued to suffer the consequences of incorporating too many conflicting opinions into a single subject through promise, so to say. Without eliminating this, we just might fail despite the presidential initiative. God forbid. In trying to resolve the persistent Nigeria energy crisis, President Buhari had asserted our goal is simply to deliver electricity to Nigerian businesses and homes. Our intention is to ensure that our corporation is structured under a government-to-government framework. No middlemen will be involved so that we can achieve value for money for Nigerians. The highlights of the initiative are impressed upon a first phase to resolve 2,000 MW of transmissions and distribution constraints, taking operational capacity of the grid to 7,000 MW, at a second phase to increase operational grid capacity by an additional 4,000 MW to 11,000 MW. The final third phase is to achieve total operational generation and grid capacity of 25,000 MW subsequently by 2021. This clear mission statement is novel and should make Nigerians happy that electricity issues over which so much has been spent and so many good and competent patriots destroyed is finally being resolved. For once, let us get it right. Losses of 1 billion naira a day owing to the inability of TCN to evacuate generated power should be unacceptable. Without this evacuation, distribution companies discussed nationwide remain hamstrung with no electricity to distribute, undermining development, leaving Nigerians desperately frustrated without electricity. More importantly, We must resolve the transmission issues that constitute the main challenge to efficient supply of electricity. Okay, that is it, guys. Electricity has been the #1 issue in Nigeria, and of course President Buhari has tried all means to ensure that there is power in Nigeria, but it seems powers that be are trying to stop it. But all the same, we hope and pray that all these are being resolved, as he's trying really hard to work towards there being a good electricity supply in Nigeria. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to drop your comments. We'll be waiting to hear from you, be waiting to read from you. If you have any comment about this, don't forget to drop it in the comment section. Thank you for your time so far. I really do appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and ensure you turn on the notification bell. And also, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do have a pleasant day and enjoy. Bye.